What's up, my foodie family? I hope you're all eating well. Thank you for coming back to the channel again. Today, we got some big news. It's been a long time. It took a lot longer than I expected it to take. You know, the past year and a half, I've been working on something real big that means a whole lot to me. And I finished it, I've accomplished it, and now it is here. And what I have been working on is, bam, Chef Swagg. All right, dishing up positive dreams as a lifestyle. You know, like I said, I've been working on this book for the last year and a half. Shed a lot of tears working on this book. Figured out who I was working on this book. Figured out where a lot of the places that I made mistakes at, a lot of the things I've done wrong, a lot of the things I've done right as well. You know what I mean? This book helped me realize that, I needed to be a better me. That a lot of the things I've done in the past were not the greatest. And and it's not necessarily, I'll take the blame for it. It's my fault. But again, it's also because, my surroundings, who I chose to put myself around, the way that I was thinking, you know what I mean? All of those things played a part in who I was before. I didn't necessarily put a lot of thought into who I was and what I was doing, the people I was around. It was all about having fun. As a young kid, it was the whole woe is me mentality. My life dealt me this hand. What am I supposed to do? Everything is so bad, blah, blah, blah. That was me. I didn't see any hopes of me being anything better as a child. I had dreams, of course. That's why this book is about dreams. It's about catching your dreams, not chasing them. We don't want to chase dreams. Chasing dreams mean you never get a hold of them. We catch dreams around here. But as a kid, of course I had dreams. I had a few different dreams. I talk about all the dreams I had in this book. Okay, my first dream being my love of baseball. I wanted to go to the MLB. Talk about that in here. Talk about, a few other dreams that I had. Of course, my culinary dream. I'll talk about that in here as well. Talk about all of the things I did to be able to earn money. Because growing up, I thought it was all about money. I had to earn money. I had to earn money. So I did everything I could to earn money, which helped me grow a great work ethic. But all of those things I did to earn money was not necessarily about my dream. You know what I mean? So in this book, I explain how I went from living a way that wasn't conducive to catching dreams to a way that was really conducive to going to prison. You know what I mean? A lot of the things I did that could have put me in prison for a long time, and how I got out of that road, how I got off of that road, and I got onto a road where, everything was legit and it was all based off dreams. It was a long road. I was a very negative person growing up. I was very pessimistic. I had a bad attitude. I hated the world. I hated everyone around me. And, I didn't, even though I had dreams, I didn't see things getting better for myself. I didn't see me being, a positive person. I didn't see myself being a CEO. I didn't see myself being a millionaire. It took a lot of getting beat down by life and just a lot of negative things happening before I realized that this isn't all for me. You know what I mean? Like, life can't be like this forever. And a lot of the negative things that I went through those things because of my mindset, because of who I was, because of the way that I thought, the way that my thinking was. I didn't, like I said, I didn't see things being any better. You know what I mean? And then it honestly took for me to get in a position to where I was by myself, and being in a position where I was by myself, it helped me realize that, no one was there for me. All of those people that I hung out with before, they weren't there for me. You know what I mean? All my family members, none of those people were there for me. And I'm not bashing on those people at all. I'm just saying, I got put in a position in life where I realized that I was here to save me and no one else. And I also realized that it wasn't by myself that I realized these things. It was from different programs that I seen, things that were sent to me from the universe, that I realized that My own thinking and my own mind state was keeping me where I was. And then at a certain point, I was walking around with my own baggage. You know, the guy named Wayne Dyer, he has this expression where he says, a lot of times people walk around with this bag, you know, this bag of ish. We walk around with it. And every once in a while, we reach in that bag of ish, we smear it all over ourselves, and then we say, wow, life really stinks. You know, life stinks so much because we carry around this big bag of ish, you know, and sometimes we just have to let it go. So me writing this book, this is me letting that big bag of ish go. This is me moving forward. This is me understanding that who I was caused me my life to be what it was. You know, even though I was born in a certain area, in a certain situation, you know, and it didn't even have anything to do with the way I was raised. It just has like society, you know, and who I chose to associate myself with. You know, I was looking for the easy win in life, and all the people I was around was where they were looking for the easy win too. But it's not about that. Life is about, you know, finding out your passion, what you love to do, and why you're here. You know, what your road is about. And for a long time, I chased other people's roads, and I was doing what other people were doing, and I wasn't doing what I was doing. Even after I found out that I wanted to cook, and I wanted to be a chef, and I wanted to go to culinary school, and I did all of that, you know, just because you do those things, it doesn't mean anything unless you do what's necessary to continue your road on that same route. You can go to culinary school, come home, and then hang out with people who aren't up to any good, and then you going to culinary school didn't mean anything. So you have to make everything you do mean something. You have to make going to culinary school mean something. You have to make your education mean something. You have to put it to use. It's up to you. And in this book, I explain what it took me to put my intelligence to use, what it took me to live a better life, what it took me to be positive, you know. And just because, you know, a person decides to be positive doesn't mean that every single day after that will be positive. That's not the case. You know, there's going to be bad days. You know, who are you on your bad days? Not on your good days. Who are you on your bad days? You know, who are you when you're at your weakest? You know, that's what I found out writing this book. I found out who I was at my weakest. Found out that I wasn't a very consistent person. I found out that I was a very negative person. You know, I found out that I wasn't working as hard as I thought I was. Found out that there's people out there better than me. And that's another thing, you know, Chef Swagg isn't about me being the best chef ever. And I made a video about this before. You can go check those videos out on my YouTube page. But it's not about me being the best. Anyone can have chef swag. Anyone who has pride in what they do, anyone who loves to cook, anyone who loves the passion of being in the kitchen, you can have chef swag. I just decided that no one points out the people in the kitchen who are doing a great job. Like, we don't have anything saying, I mean, there's things out there, whatever, but it's like no one takes notice of us. You know what I mean? It's like we work really hard and we slave our lives away being in the kitchen, and no one notices us. So I decided we needed to be noticed. So Chef Swagg is my way of noticing those passionate, hardworking people in the kitchen. So you can be a grandma, you can be a mom, a dad, a brother, a sister, a cousin. It doesn't matter who you are. If you take pride in what you do and you're passionate about what you do, you got Chef Swagg. You know, I made this for you. It's for you and everyone else who takes pride in what they do and who cares about who they are. You know, that's what this is about. It's not about Chris. It's about the fact that I love what I do so much. I want to shine a light on everyone. You know what I mean? But no one else was doing it. No one else was shining a light on our industry and who we are. So I decided to. So this book is about my ups, my downs, you know, in my career, you know, what made me care about the culinary industry so much, you know, all the things that I had to go through to be in this industry, you know, all my ups, my downs, my negative times, my positive times, you know, the battles I had with people, the battles I had trying to move up, the battles I had starting my catering service, you know. So there's so much that can be learned from this book. If you are aspiring to be in the industry, the culinary industry, you can learn a lot from this book. If you are aspiring to be an entrepreneur and have your own business, you can learn a lot from this book. You know, if you have gone through any negative times in your life and you want to make them positive, you can learn a lot from this book. You know, a lot of people, like I made a video before talking about how people don't talk about their bad times. Everything is a highlight reel. Everybody wants you to believe that everything they've gone through has been the best, most positive thing ever. It's not me. That's not me at all. You know, I came from hard times, and I'm saying that from the aspect of taking a lot of fails, you know, falling a lot. You know what I mean? Like, man, growing up, my family, man, we had everything we needed. You know, we had the food, we had clothes. It might not have been the clothes that I wanted or the food that I wanted, but we had everything. You know, but of course we lived paycheck to paycheck, and we did what we needed to get by. And we got by, and I'm grateful for that. But I noticed that there was more out there. I just didn't know how to get it. And I was scared to get it. And like I said before, I went for the low-hanging fruit. I wanted everything that was easy. You know, there's this saying, I think Les Brown said it. He said, if you do what's easy, your life will be hard. He said, if you do what's hard, your life will be easy. What's easy is just going to work every day, living paycheck to paycheck, barely getting by. That's easy. What's hard is creating a business, creating several streams of income, you know, living your dreams. That's hard. But if you do everything you need to put your dreams together and you live your dreams, all that hard work makes the rest of your life easy. And that's what that saying means. You put in the hard work, then you can live an easy life. If you put in the easy work, you're gonna live a hard life. Okay, so this book is about you know, turning your negatives into positives. You know, that even though you came from a place that might not have been the best, you can still live a great life. You know, you have to understand that turning your situation around from negative to positive, it's all on you. It's up to you. You know, you have to do that. You can't rely on somebody else. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to help you. Man, there's been so many times when I was crying, I was down and out, I wanted help. I'm calling people, what can I do? Nobody came to help me because it wasn't up to them. It was up to me. You know, and that's what this book talks about. It talks about that you fail, you hit the ground, it's up to you to pick yourself up. And then how do you pick yourself up? With passion. Passion. Having a reason to live life. Your passion will pick you up. Okay, so this book, I talk about my pain. This book is my pain. Okay, so I gave you my pain. Okay, and then I gave you my passion. Cooking is my passion. Okay, and this book explains my persistence. You know, how persistent I was. I took the pain and the passion and I made it my persistence. And that's what it's all about. You know, it's all about taking your pain and turning it into passion and using that to persist through life. There's always gonna be pain, but once we hit the ground, we can't stay there. We gotta get up. You know what picks you up? Your passion. You gotta have passion for something. If you have passion for nothing, you're gonna fall for anything. You know? So when you're at a struggling point, you've been beat down so much, you don't know how you're gonna get through, and life is painful, you gotta figure out what your passion is. You gotta figure out why you're living. You gotta figure out why you're here. You gotta figure out what you're passionate for. And then use that to persist through. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. So don't stay down. Even though I've been down, I've been out. Life hasn't gone the way I wanted to. Working jobs hasn't gone the way I wanted to. Haven't been the father that I wanted to be. All the things didn't work out the way I wanted to. But you know what keeps me going? My passion. I use my passion to create merchandise, create products, write books, you know, seasonings and marinades and shoes. You know, you can do whatever you want. This is not just me. This is what I decided when I was down and out, that this was what going to change. This is what was going to change my life, my passion. So I encourage all of you guys to don't stay down, get up, find a way to be positive, figure out what your passion is, create some goals, and persist through life no matter what. Get creative, get productive. Use your pain and turn it into your pleasure. Use it to catapult you to the next step. Read my book. It'll help you get through times you never thought you'd be able to get through. Thank you. Until next time, love, peace, and chicken grease. Oh, my bad. Love, peace, and fish grease, baby.